Assalamu alaikum and good day to all examiners. Here I'd like to present about my final year project. The title from my PSM2 is Combat Arm Exergame using Virtual Reality. I am Nur'Alia Salmi binti Bahrudin and I am from 4 SDSV. My supervisor for this project is Prof. Dr. Muhammad Shahrizal bin Sunar. First and foremost, I would like to introduce you to this project. The project is based on the concept of exergames that prompts the players to move according to the instructions until the point of breaking a sweat. Hence, the aim of this project is to develop a combat arm exergame using virtual reality. The objectives of this project is, firstly, to analyze the different types of exercises and their purposes. Secondly, to design and develop a virtual reality application to provide activities that support the upper limbs physical exercises. And thirdly, to test the application on real users. The scopes for this project is single-use application and using Oculus Rift HMD and touch controllers created with Unity 3D software and have objects that can be interacted. Next, for the methodology, there are 4 phases that was done for this project. Firstly, literature review. In this phase, the types of exercises that can be included and the game requirements for virtual reality was analyzed. After these 2 has been done, I determined the suitable moves that will be used in the project and also the equipment that is suitable for the game. For the second phase, the design phase. In this phase, the rough sketch for the game interface and the flow of the game was designed. Next, the third phase is the development phase. In this phase, the user interaction with game interface and button functions was done. Besides, the jab, hook, and uppercut interactions using both controllers was also implemented. For the VR settings, the settings for virtual reality environment and the GUI and the display was done. The last phase is the testing phase. In this phase, real users were selected to test the combat exercise game using virtual reality. After the testing was done, the user experience evaluation was completed. The software requirements for this project is Windows 8 and above, Unity 3D version 2008.2.8 F1 or above with VR plugin, Adobe Photoshop CS6 for the graphic designing, and Blender for 3D modeling. The hardware is using Windows PC, Oculus with touch controllers, Intel Core i5 or above, graphic card NVIDIA GeForce FTX 1080 or above, and Intel HD Graphics 630 or any graphics card compatible to use the virtual reality. Next, the implementation of the project. Before one can start creating a VR game in Unity, the Oculus Rift headset and touch controllers must first be set up inside the computer. The installation procedure starts from downloading the setup from the official website, and once the basic installation is complete, the devices must be successfully connected. Once the Oculus Rift devices has been set up, an asset called Oculus Integration must be downloaded and imported into the Unity project. The asset will provide the user with its own camera rig that supports virtual reality and basic movements of the player. To interact with objects, the player must hit the blocks using the correct hand controller with correct actions. Based on the figure, the red glove is for the left hand and the blue glove is for the right hand. There are 3 types of objects that can be interacted, which firstly the jab block, and second the hook block, and finally the uppercut block. In order to gain points from a jab block, players simply need to punch straight into the jab blocks. For the hook blocks, the player must punch these blocks according to the direction that was shown on the blocks. Next, the uppercut block, the player must hit these blocks from below to gain points. For every successful hit, the score will be increased by 10, and if they miss or uses the wrong hand to punch the blocks, the score will be diminished by 10. The game over menu will pop out if the player gets a score of -50 or below. Then you will be directed to the main menu and can restart the game. In this presentation, I would like to show you a very quick video, this is the tutorial mode that can be played if the user chooses to. The tutorial simply gives out the basic instructions for this game, and help the users to understand what kind of blocks need what kind of hits. Once done, they can continue playing the game as usual. This is the easy mode, which has 70 to 100 beats per minute. Then the normal mode is called the routine mode, which has 105 to 150 beats per minute. The hardcore mode has between 155 to 200 beats per minute. And as you can see, the player failed to hit the blocks properly, which leads them to game over. Next, the results and evaluation. The testing for this application was carried out in order to test the overall project. Then, a form of questionnaire was distributed to the respondents that volunteered to test the project. The basic setup for the project is simply using Oculus Rift HMD with touch controllers connected to the computer. From the result of the questionnaire, I have noted some of the questions and answers that were significant. There was a total of 9 respondents that had managed to test out the project. The gender of these 9 respondents are 5 males and 4 females, with ages between 12 to 53 years old. For the pre-questionnaire, they were asked regarding their experience in using virtual reality, which we can see here. About 4 people have no experience whatsoever in using virtual reality, 3 people are intermediate, and 2 people are beginners in virtual reality. About half of them have no experience in using VR. It might be a bit difficult for them to test out the application. However, the testing was managed to be done smoothly. The next question asked about the controls of the project, and based on the result of this question, most of the respondents understood the controls. Then, they were asked whether they feel like they were doing a workout while playing the game. About 7 people agreed that they feel like they were exercising while playing the game, while 2 of them stayed neutral. Hence, we can say that the game has encouraged people to exercise. They were also asked if the game resembles any basic combat techniques. From the results, the resemblance to basic combat techniques is not much, but is still at a decent degree based on the 5 people that answered agree on the question. The final testing is the user acceptance testing, which is called black box testing. From the table, we can see that the problem lies in interacting with the UI and understanding the tutorial. 2 of the respondents had trouble in interacting with the UI and did not understand the tutorial fully. Despite the problems, they can still interact with the objects correctly and completed a set of games. For the conclusion, we will talk about the limitations on this project. There are several limitations that can be found during the initial development of the project. For the first limitation is that the game is limited to PC and Xbox, since it uses Oculus Rift VR headset with touch controllers. Next, the game will need touch controllers to be fully experienced, hence having only HMD would not make the game to be functioning. This project is also limited to single user and does not have an online feature. Lastly, the project only focuses on training the upper body, mainly the arms, with zero to minimal lower body workout, since the Oculus Rift with touch controllers can only detect the head, arms, and hand movements. Some recommendations that can be given and to be used in future works are: firstly, to enhance further by building it for the Android and iOS users. For the hand detection, leg motion can be integrated for the mobiles. Then, using Kinect to detect the movements of the lower body. The third one is to add some modifications to the game to add more supported hardware such as HTC Vive and PlayStation VR. And lastly, using Photon Unity 3D or other plugins specifically for online network framework to encourage multiplayer. From this project, we can see the achievements. Firstly, the project encourages players to exercise based on the questionnaire that has been answered by the respondents. Next, for achievements is based on the scope, which is firstly using VR technology, and the game is available on PC, and the blocks and the number of colored objects that prompts the user to extend their arms towards the position of the project to hit them. The game can be played by one user at a time, and the game is offline. Based on these achievements, it can be said that the project is within the scope that has been stated earlier in this presentation. I would like to end my presentation here. Thank you for watching this video, and next will be the full video of the demo.